Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're talking about Genie Plus. We recently went to Walt Disney World and got to use Genie Plus for the first time on our trip. And today I am sharing with you my experience and all my thoughts and tips and tricks and I guess my full review of Genie Plus and what I think about it. But before we get into the video, please consider subscribing if you haven't already. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to hit the bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. What is Genie Plus and how do you use it? Okay, so there are many great creators who created fantastic videos about every little detail about Disney Genie Plus. And I will have them linked somewhere down below. You can definitely check them out, but I will just give you like a teeny tiny recap before jumping into our experience of using Genie Plus for the first time. So Genie Plus is located in your My Disney Experience app, and that's where you would book your lightning lanes, individual lane attraction, your dining, and pretty much anything you need help with will be in that app with Genie Plus. So Genie Plus is $15 per day per person. And then if you want to buy an individual attraction, which is the fancy ride as everyone calls them, you would have to pay on top of that. So those rides vary, I think, from $7 to maybe about $15. So it all depends. If you are a Disney Resort guest, you're able to book your first lightning lane at 7 o'clock in the morning. And you can also book the paid attraction at 7 o'clock in the morning. So you essentially can book two rides right at 7 o'clock, way before everybody else, way before the parks even open. If you're not staying on Disney property, then you're able to book your first lightning lane, I believe at 9 o'clock in the morning when all the parks typically open. There's that 120-minute rule. It's kind of tricky, but I feel like you have to be there to really understand it. So for instance, let's just take this as an example. So if you are staying on Disney property and you booked your two attractions at 7 o'clock in the morning, that does not mean that at 9 in the morning you're able to book another one. This means that you could book another one at 11. Of course, I believe if you get to the park at open and you use your lightning lane, if you got one right as the park opens, I'm pretty sure, we've never done that, but I'm pretty sure you're able to book another one as soon as you use the first one. But otherwise, you have to wait until the park has been open for 2 hours. Pretty much it. And you just keep on booking, you just keep putting your alarm on, and as soon as the 120-minute mark has gone, you just get on your phone and you just book something else. It's pretty convenient, like I have to say. So that's what it is. And you do have an option to book Genie Plus in advance when you're booking your Disney World vacation. But do keep in mind that if you book it in advance, you have to take it for every single park day and every single person that is attached to your reservation. Be a good thing, but that can also be a bad thing because there are definitely days that you probably don't need Genie Plus. The other option is to purchase Genie Plus when you already are in Disney. So how that works is you arrive, say today, and tomorrow you're going to the park for the first time and you're going to Hollywood Studios, and it's probably a good idea to have Genie Plus for Hollywood Studios. So today at midnight, you'll be able to purchase Genie Plus, and then tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning, you'll be able to make your selections. So that's kind of like as far as I'm gonna explain it to you guys, but like I said, there are so many creators that really explain it so good, so much better. All right, so how we used Genie Plus. I pre-purchased Genie Plus with my entire vacation in advance. So our flight was actually, I think, at like 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. So I knew that we're going to be flying when my 7 o'clock window is open. But don't worry, as long as you have a reservation and you're a Disney Resort guest, you can book that from anywhere. You don't have to be on Disney property to book it. I was in the air and I was able to book 2 of my attractions. So we had Remy, which I paid for, I think it was $11 per person, and then I can't remember what else we booked. I want to say maybe Test Track. Time we landed and got to Disney, many hours have passed. We settled in. We actually got our room like really early, so we were able to take all of our stuff in. Many hours have passed, and now it was after 11 o'clock in the morning, and I was able to book another lightning lane. So I did that, and by the time we actually made it to the park, it was enough time to book another lightning lane. So before we even got there, we had one paid attraction, which was Remy, and then we had 3 lightning lanes. So some days, I know that, you know, people want to go to the park early. Some days people want to get to the park late, but I found that if we're not going to be rope dropping, which we have done, and it's difficult sometimes because there's so many people, it's not my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing is just to come in and like be in and out the Disney transportation and in Disney parks, you know, within like 20 minutes. Like that's my kind of start to a Disney park day. So I say it's not a bad thing if you're having a late start. You could already pre-book and have one lightning lane on top of another one and on top of another one, and a paid attraction already booked before you even get to the park. Number one advice I will give you is that even if you're planning to arrive to the park, you know, say at 2 o'clock, don't book your first lightning lane for like 7 p.m. You know, definitely try to stay consistent with the time, because I think that would be your best option, because then you have to wait the 120 minutes before you can book the next one. But if you book the lightning lane right at 2 o'clock and used it by 3, because you have a 1 hour window, you're able to book, as soon as you scan, you're able to book another one. Got it? There are many people on YouTube that will say purchasing Genie Plus is expensive, and it is. And many people will say that if you purchase a Genie Plus, you gotta just back to back, like there's no stopping on that day. And I don't agree with that, because I still think that you could still take your time, back your lightning lanes, and have a magical day in any of the Disney parks. So if you wanted to sleep in, if you wanted to start your morning at the pool, if you wanted to go to a resort or even in the park and have your sit down dining, breakfast, brunch, lunch, and then do your ride, you have already so many hours that all you've done is just pre-booked all of these lightning lanes. And I think it's just amazing, because then you're going from one to the next to the next to the next. So I think it's really good. Now, does every park need Genie Plus? I don't think so. I don't think you really need it in Epcot. I don't think you really need it in Animal Kingdom, unless you're going at a very busy time of year. So I think going forward, when we do go next time, I won't be pre-booking my Genie Plus with my trip. I think once we get there, and I'm just gonna purchase it for those specific days. That would be honestly the best option for me and my kids. But do I like it? Absolutely. Do I think it's worth it? Absolutely. So we had one issue, well, 2. And I guess it's also a great question, kind of like, well, what happens if a ride breaks down? Or what happens if, you know, it's down for hours or it's down for the day? Don't worry, Disney is there to help you. You just have to go to the customer service, I think it's called guest services, and they actually have them in so many places throughout the park. So all you have to do is just find that umbrella, and there's like 2, 3, even 4 cast members are standing there. So you don't always have to go back to the beginning of the park or in the middle of the park to actually find the guest services building. There's people everywhere to help you. When we were in Epcot, remember I said that I purchased the individual attraction for Remy. We really wanted to go. We've never been, so this was gonna be our chance to go. It kept breaking down the entire, afternoon into evening that we were there. And what they were doing is essentially pushing the time back. So I think I had it booked for like 4:30, and before I knew it, it was at 5, and before I knew it, it was at 5:50. Before I knew it, it was at 7 o'clock, and before I knew it, it was like after, you know, 8 o'clock. Just, I didn't think of this that day, but I probably suggest maybe fix this the day that you're in the park so you don't have to waste your precious time the next day. So the following day we were Magic Kingdom, and I just came up to one of the guest people, and I just told them what had happened. And so what happened was that they, you know, kept breaking and kept pushing my time back. And then because it was our travel day, this is a tip that I will give you. Don't purchase, if you have little kids, don't purchase the individual attractions for evening time when you have little kids and it's a travel day and you've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning. No, not gonna do that again. So when we got to Magic Kingdom, I explained to the lady that this is what happened. We had a long travel day. We had it booked for 4 o'clock, and the time just kept getting pushed. And by the time we got in line, my kid passed out in the stroller. So it was no questions asked, but what she did ask me is that if I want a refund or I want to use that money that I already paid for another attraction in this park. She's seen my reservation and that we're going to be there for a couple of days, if I wanted to use it in another park. And I said, well, we're in Magic Kingdom, so let's just take Mine Train. And so she booked it and it was no problem. The next day we were going to Animal Kingdom, and from the morning I was trying to get a Flight of Passage and it just wasn't working. And it was definitely a big glitch in the system, because it would give me all of these times, you know, 10 o'clock is available, 11, 11:30, you know, 9:30, 9:45. But then when I would go into actually processing the payment, it would kick me back and say that there was a problem with processing my payment at this time. Please try again. So I've done that for literally like an hour. I've changed my payment method, nothing. Try it one more time. So I get in there and I'm looking, and they still have, you know, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. It wasn't a very busy day. So I know for a fact that I clicked the 10 a.m. but the system switched it to like 5, and it booked Flight of Passage for 5 p.m. and I didn't want that. So when we got to Animal Kingdom, we went straight to one of these umbrellas where these people help. And I explained the situation, and I told him that, you know, we actually have a park hopper and we plan to leave at 2, so this was an honest mistake, and if you could refund me or you could book us somewhere else. Very understanding, but he did kind of, you know, was like, listen, you did this yesterday with Remy's and now you're doing it today, and you have to be very careful when you select time. And I said, I know what I selected. I selected 10 a.m. but by the time the system updated and took me to the payment, it picked a 5 o'clock. And again, they were very, very understanding, and I was very grateful and thankful. And so I feel like if something like that happens, you don't have to worry you're gonna be losing so much money, because it is expensive. You know, if you have, you know, a large family. I mean, it was just the 3 of us, and the ride was $11 per person. You know, that's $33 plus tax. That's a lot of money. So I think if you do have an issue, and whether it's an honest mistake or, you know, a hiccup with the ride breaking down, I'm sure they're going to accommodate you. So don't be nervous and always ask for help. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that when you do book Genie Plus for your day, I would suggest, of course to each its own, but I would suggest not to really waste your lightning lanes on shows. Sing Along, Indiana Jones, The Lion King, those shows are amazing and we do them every single time, but I say it's easier to get to the show than it is to wait for, you know, an hour and a half for Slinky. So I say the time that you have before you can book another lightning lane, utilize that for shows. or for dining. I think that would be your best bet because it's easier to get to Frozen show, sing along, you're in and you're out, and then it's almost time to book another lightning lane. Or if you have, you know, lunch, you can do lunch, you can use the bathrooms, a little shopping, and then it's time to book again. The other thing that I did want to mention here is that if you are utilizing the Dash Pass, which is a disability pass, you're still going to be able to use it along with your lightning lanes, and they have recently updated the system. I can't remember if it's 60 days out or 30 days out, but you can request a phone call with a cast member through your Disney Experience app, and you can book 2 attractions with your disability pass for each park day. So that also helps a ton. And the best thing that they have done is that now you don't need to go to the attraction entrance and request a time back for your disability pass. You can do that all on your phone. So it's really, really helpful. And I think for someone who is utilizing a disability pass and someone who is utilizing Genie Plus, and when you put those 2 together, it makes it very, very easy and very convenient to have a really wonderful day. So it's worth it. We had an amazing time, honestly. It was really, really good, and it helps me a lot, and especially because I do have a child who has special needs, and it's wonderful. It's like having the fast passes with the disability pass together, but now we just have to pay a little bit more. But I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you do have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. And don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, if you found it helpful, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.